Basic skills 3. So for number 1, we're going to evaluate each function, which means we're going to be plugging in whatever value that each problem tells us to do. So for number 1, we have h times n equals n squared minus 1. And it wants us to find h to the negative 5. Okay, so this is going to equal and then the rest. So notice that the n and the negative 5 are in the same position here. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in negative 5 for n when we go on and write the rest of this. So we have negative 5 squared minus 1. Okay. We're not going to be concerned with this section here. That just told us that we plugged in negative 5. So h of negative 5 equals negative 5 squared gives us 25 minus 1. And then finally, when we go on to write our answer, h to the negative 5 equals 24. And that's our answer there. So when we plugged in negative 5, we got 24. Now let's look at number 2. Number 2 doesn't have just a single number that we're plugging in. So we have the f of x minus 1. So notice again the x and the x minus 1 match up. So we'll be plugging in x minus 1 for x. Equals, and again we're going to replace this x with x minus 1. And we're going to simplify. So this needs to get distributed, right? It's touching parentheses. So we have f times x minus 1 equals 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And there's nothing further that we can simplify. So we plugged in x minus 1 for x. And we got 2x minus 2. So numbers 3 to 6, we need to perform what it tells us to do. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And state any bad values. So bad values apply to division. Right? And if you look, this is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That's where our bad value, you're going to need to state what our bad value is there. But let's go ahead and start on number 3. So number 3 tells us that we are going to take h and add it to g. So h is 4x minus 1. And we get that from here. And then there's g. We're going to take all of this and we're going to add it to g, which is negative 2x plus 2. From here, we're familiar how to do all these. You drop the parentheses. Don't need these, don't need these, don't need these. And go to combine like terms. 4x minus 2x gives us 2x. Negative 1 plus 2 gives us a positive 1. That's our simplified answer. H plus g of x equals 2x plus 1. Let's look at number 4. We're going to take g and subtract it from h. So here's g, 4x minus 2. And we're going to subtract it from h, which is 2x plus 5. Okay. It's a little different when you have subtraction of the two functions, right? First thing we got to do is we got to distribute that minus sign into the parentheses. So that negative times negative 2x gives us negative 2x. Negative times positive 5 gives us negative 5. Next, we combine our like terms. 4x minus 2x gives us 2x. Negative 2 minus 5 gives us negative 7. And again, we had g minus h of x. Number 5, it tells us to take g and multiply it to h. So here's g. 3x squared plus 4x, and we're multiplying this to h, which is 3x. We can write it this way, or we can write it the other way. Since it's multiplication, either way works. So first thing we do, 3x times 3x squared. 3 times 3 is 9. X squared times x give us x cubed. Then we do 4x times 3x. 4 times 3 is a positive 12. X times x is x squared. So here we had g times h of x is equal to 9x cubed plus 12x squared. Now number 6, we're going to take h, which is 2t plus 2, and divide it by 3t minus 4. Okay, so h on top, g on bottom. So be careful because those aren't always going to be that same way. It could be g on top. But now, remember that for this one, we had to state the bad values. We can't simplify any further than this here. All right? Unless these two are exactly the same, then you can divide it out to 1. But for now, we don't have the skills that we need. This is way further down the road for you guys in math. So we're going to leave the answer like this, except we're going to state what the bad value is. So x cannot equal a number, right, because, well, we don't know what the number is yet. We're going to figure that out. Remember that we can never have the denominator equal to 0. When we have a denominator that's equal to 0, our fraction there becomes undefined, and we don't want that. So what we have to figure out is what value would make the denominator 0. So we take the denominator, set it equal to 0, and simplify. We add 4, 3t equals 4. Divide by 3 on both sides. And we get that t equals 4/3. Right? Let me change this to an x. Oops. So t cannot equal 4/3. Because if we plug 4/3 into t, that would give us a 0. Right? So 3 times 4/3 minus 4 would give us 0, and we don't want that. All right, number 7, sketch the graph of x squared. So what we're looking at is the parent function of x squared. So if we're looking at the parent, this we need to have memorized. It's 0, 0, which is right there, 1, 1, and then reflect that, negative 1, 1, and then 2, 4, and negative 2, 4. So there's our parent function for f of x, and we're going to need to put that on all of these. Because we're going to apply the multipliers and the shifts according to what equation is given to us. So for number 7, that's all we needed to do. That's our parent function there. If you need these written out, that's 2, 4. Negative 2, 4 up here. That's negative 1, 1. That's 1, 1. And that is 0, 0. So now going on to number 8. So we're going to graph in vertex form using the parent, multiplier, and shift. So we got the parent up there. Remember that our multiplier is out here in front. We have a multiplier of a positive 1. You never worry about multiplying by a 1 in math. It just ends up being the same. But now we have our shifts here. So this is, remember, this is opposite. This is the same. Inside, so let me rewrite this here. We have x minus 3 squared minus 4. So this here is responsible for moving us left and right, and this is opposite. And then this here is responsible for moving us up and down, and it's not the opposite. So that one stays the same. So if we're looking at our new points, right, since this is a -3, we're going to be moving opposite direction. So we're going to, instead of moving to the left, we're going to move over to the right 3. And now since this is a -4, this one's not opposite, we're going to be moving down 4. So all these points, we just shift them to the right 3. 1, 2, 3, down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's that point there. Now I'm shifting this one to the right 3. 1, 2, 3, down 1. Oops, wrong one. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you get into the habit of these, it'll start getting pretty easy. You'll start noticing patterns. And last, you just draw in your graph the best you can. Okay, let's go on to number 9. So again, same thing. We want to go ahead and put our parent graph on there. Here is 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, -1, -2, 4. Okay. So there's our parent. And now we got to apply our multipliers and our shifts. So if we look at this in vertex form, it's kind of not given in vertex form, but if we write it like this, x minus 0 squared plus 0, that's essentially the same thing. If you really look at it, you remove this, all you're left with is x squared. So when we stop to think about, are we going to have any shifts? Since we're moving to the left or right 0, we're moving up or down 0, we're not going to have any shifts, but we do have this multiplier here, right? We put our parent, and now we have our multiplier. So the multiplier tells us that we need to multiply the y values by -2. So multiplying all the values by -2, the y values, this here is at +4. These 2 points up here, these two are a +4 y value. So if I multiply these by -2, it goes down to -8. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be off the graph. That's fine. This one drops down to -8. I'll try my best to get it accurate. Now let's look at the y value of these two here. The y value kind of looks like a pig. The y values there are 1. 1 times -2. This drops down to -2. This drops down to -2. Notice that the x doesn't change. We don't move these left or right. We're just moving them up or down because it's the y that's changing. And then the last one, the point on the origin there, the y value is 0. 0 times -2 is 0. That stays at 0. So here's our graph stretched a little bit. Number 10, let's start it the same way. Parent graph to 4. This time we have a multiplier. Here's our multiplier there, is -1. So let's start off by multiplying our y values by -1. Let's do this step in purple. So first we're going to do our multiplier. We're going to multiply all these by -1, and that just flips the graph. So if we have this y value 0, 0 times -1 is 0. These two y values are at 1. 1 times -1, that drops down to -1. -1. These two up here, they're at 4 times -1, that's -4. There's our multiplier so far. So after we do our multiplier, we want to go ahead and do our shift. There's one shift, there's another shift there. So we're going to be moving left 1, right, because that one's going to be opposite, and then down 2. So from the purple, I'm going to start with the origin first. Left 1, down 2. 1, 2. That'll be your new point right there. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, next I'm going to start with this point here. Left 1, down 2. Left 1, down 2. And now I'm doing this point here. Left 1, down 2. And last, left 1, down 2. And there's our graph.